Hello, John Kelly, Web Support, back again for our 7th tutorial here. And in this one we're going to learn how to upload PDF files onto our downloads directory of the website. Now what goes in the downloads directory are files such as your newsletter, usually monthly for those that want monthly newsletters. There's an employment guide, which normally you put it up there once and it pretty much stays that way unless you want to make changes to it. Another thing would be the consumer awareness guide, such as the 7 biggest mistakes people make. So when somebody clicks on that and they fill out the form, that will be the guide that you can change up as well. Again, that's another one like the employment where you only do it, usually once, maybe twice at most. The ones that you're going to focus on the most would be the coupons and the newsletter. These are all going to be placed on your website as PDF documents. And I'll even show you here how to create a PDF document from a Word document and a couple different options that you have in doing so. Okay, so another one would be, for example, somebody clicks your newsletter. Same thing, they put in your name, their email, click submit, and then it goes into the downloads folder and it pulls up newsletter.pdf. And so maybe you want to change that regularly. Okay, not a problem. We're going to show you how you can do that. Okay, so let's talk about the actual function of putting the PDF documents up onto your website first, and then we'll show you how to edit one and we'll actually do one. So let's go to the admin panel. So we go to site admin, and assuming that you're logged in, you'll be in your dashboard now. And we told you in the first video that there was some other stuff here that we would get to later. Well, now it's later. And so we have 5 upload functions here for you. Newsletter uploader, we have the new client coupon uploader, we have the current client coupon uploader if you're using that feature, consumer guide uploader, which is the 7 biggest mistakes or the awareness guide, and we have the employment guide uploader as well. So for those that want to change up their employment guide for whichever reason. Okay, so if you notice I put some of the ones that you don't do that often, they're kind of at the bottom, and that's the consumer guide and the employment guide. You're not going to use those a whole lot. The ones that you probably will use the most would be the coupons and the newsletter. Okay, so the operation here, for those that are a little bit more advanced, may find this quick and easy. You simply choose your file from the website. It has to be a PDF file. Click upload. It will automatically name it to newsletter.pdf and place it on your website for you. So regardless of what the file name is on your computer, whether you called it newsletter January 2011 .pdf, when you upload it, it's going to be called newsletter.pdf. So this function automatically renames the file for you. So you don't have to pre-name the file. The only thing you got to worry about is to make sure it's in a PDF format before you upload that file. Alright, so it says here, note, your newsletter must be in PDF format, which means it has to have a .pdf file extension. Okay, so first let's show you how this actually works. Let's choose a file, and we're going to find a newsletter, and we go to our computer. Somewhere we've saved a newsletter file, and let's say that we've already converted to a newsletter .pdf. We already made it a PDF file. Don't worry, we're going to get back to show you how we did that, but for right now I just want to show you what this thing does. So there's my file. I want to upload it. Now you notice it loaded it in here for you. All you have to do now is click upload. And as soon as it's done, you're going to get a notice here in green showing you if it was successful or not. And if you notice, the page refreshed when it did that. So keep in mind that if you're down here somewhere and that page refreshes, it's going to refresh to the top of the screen. You'll have to scroll back down until you see that that green comment there again. But anyway, it says the newsletter has been uploaded successfully. Check it here. So if I click that link, it should show me in the downloads directory newsletter.pdf. There it is. You just added that document to your website downloads automatically. And that's what we do for you, is do that feature. But we do it a little different with FTP. So we made a feature here that allow you to do it from the admin panel instead. Okay, so now we understand what this thing does. It simply puts a PDF file onto a folder called Downloads on your website, and it allows you to change these on a regular basis. So let's talk about the actual document itself, how we create a PDF file. So if you had a newsletter sent to you from Mike Colosi, or you're making your own newsletters, then perhaps you're doing it in Microsoft Word, and that's what we're going to use for this tutorial. That's the only format that we're going to support. So if we go into open up our file, we go to that, we go and locate where that newsletter is. So let's say we go to, I think I have them saved here in I forget where I have it saved. Oh yeah, okay, bear with me a second. If I go to where I stored a copy of the newsletter, here's a newsletter document. It's probably an old one. It is June of 2010. Okay, but let's just say that this is the current newsletter that you got, and if you notice, it's a Word document, which means it ends in either .doc or .docx for the newer version of Word. Well, you would simply go in and edit your Word document and then go ahead and save it. Now, you want to save it though this time as a PDF file. If you are using Windows Vista or using Windows 7, in other words, if your computer is at least a couple of years old or newer, then chances are that's what you're using now. You have the option of using Word to save it as a PDF document as opposed to a Word document. So the way to do that, and don't worry, I'll show you how to do it if you don't have this, but what we're going to do to save that is, if we're going to go to File, we're going to go to Save As, and if you notice, it's going to ask us, well, where do you want to save it to? Well, I want to go back to my folder that I created called PDFs on my desktop, and I want to save it there. Okay. Now there's a folder already in here called Newsletter, but that's not where I'm saving it. So I can call this newsletter Newsletter June 2010 and save it there. Okay. So now all I did was save a document. Okay, so if you notice, it renamed it up here at the top as well. Now I'm going to save it as a PDF file. So I'm going to go File, Save As, Save File Type. The second line here, there's a drop down. I'm going to click on that drop down. It's going to ask me, well, what type of document type do you want to save it as? If you notice, you'll find PDF in there. So click on that, and now you notice that it changes the file extension to PDF. Go ahead and oh, one other thing here, optimization. You want to go down here and click minimize size. That'll keep the file size small, make it easier and load faster on your website. So now I go ahead and I save it, and now my PDF file is saved. Now my computer is configured to automatically show me that PDF document after it's saved, and there it is. Okay, so I've taken care of my newsletter. I've now created a PDF file. So if we go back and rerun that function again, how did that work? Well, what we simply do, and I'm going to just refresh this. So it'll be a nice clean home page again, or add dashboard panel. I'm trying to get rid of the green comment. There we go. Okay. So anyway, if I go to the newsletter uploader and I want to upload that newsletter that I just edited, so again, I go to Choose File and I go and find that newsletter. So there it is, Newsletter June 2010 PDF. It loads it in there. I click Upload. Now don't worry, what's going to happen is simply going to overwrite the newsletter that's already in there last. So keep that in mind. Whatever you upload, it's going to overwrite the old file. So you don't have to delete it or anything, it's just going to overwrite it. Alright, so file's been uploaded, check it here, and there it is, which is the same exact file that I overwrote anyway. And that's it. And that's how you upload it. Now, the next question you may have is, well, if I can't save it as a PDF on my computer, I don't have Adobe Acrobat, or you don't have Vista or Windows 7, you have another option. And that option is this. If you notice on the bottom of every one of these uploader boxes, I have a link to freepdfconvert.com. So if you click on that link, it'll take you to a place to do just that. Alright, this will, for free, you can convert a file from a Word document to a PDF. So the process is real simple. Choose the file and go find your newsletter, okay, and convert from file. Put in your email address and then run convert your file. It's going to say validating, and then it's going to run through its process, and somewhere on your screen, depending on your browser, it should show you uploading status. If we go down here in the bottom, right down here just below where I'm hovering, you'll see the uploading function there. You can barely see it. It's saying it's about 39–40% right now, and it's moving pretty quick now. So it's going to finish up here just a minute. So okay, the conversion is in process. If you enter an email in the form, then you can also close the window. As a result, will be sent to you by email. Okay, great. So I'll go back into my file, and what we'll do is we'll go and check our email here, and let's see. There it is. Okay, so open up that email that I just got from them. Your file was successfully converted. Click here to download it. Okay, it opens that up, and from there I can go, from there I can click here to download the file from the server. I can save it, and all I have to do is go and find a place on my computer to save it. So now I went and put it, I chose a folder on my desktop that I created called PDFs. You can put it wherever you want. But notice that when it saves it, it is now saving it as a zip file. It doesn't say PDF, it says zip. That means it's a compressed file, has a zipper on the folder. So go ahead and save it. I'll show you what to do with it. Okay, so now we got rid of that. We're done with the email. Now we need to take that file and open it up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and locate that file and go into my File Explorer, or go to my documents, or wherever it is that you saved that file, and I'm going to go find that folder that I called PDFs, and there it is, the June newsletter zip folder. Now how do I open that? Real easy. Use your right mouse button and click on it and extract all. It's going to ask you, where do you want to extract it to? Well, just leave the designated area or address that it put there, because it'll put it right next, it'll put it in the same spot for you, unless of course you want to place it somewhere else and browse for it. So go ahead and click extract, and what it did, it just took that folder and extracted it, and here it is. So now I can open it up. There's my newsletter in PDF format, and I can go ahead and upload that just like I did before. It's another way to do it. If you're a Mac user, I don't have much advice for you for Mac users. I'm not a Mac user, okay? So you're going to have to research on your own how to do a PDF upload, if that's or conversion. But you know, again, if you are able to save that document for us to convert it to PDF for you, we can still do this process for you. But the upload feature will work regardless of whether you're using a Mac or Windows. So anyway, so that concludes our demonstration on how to upload a PDF file into your downloads directory. So now you know that you can do that in the future. The same thing applies for coupons, etc., and you have the ability to do so if you wish. Now, of course, if you don't want to do this, you can always continue to send your documents into web support. But just keep in mind that this process, after you learn it, is going to be faster than it would be waiting for web support to do it for you. So thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next tutorial.